Should be going live in just a moment. All right. Welcome everyone to the Actualize Capstone presentations. I'd like to thank everyone watching on YouTube Live, as well as people watching on YouTube in the future. My name is Brian Rice, and I've been helping the presenters learn the fundamentals of web development over the last 12 weeks. Each presenter has picked an idea and built that idea out from scratch over the last 6 weeks, and they're excited to show you what they built. So each presenter will be paired with a panelist, and the presenter will present, and then the panelist will ask some follow-up questions, and we'll go through each presenter in that format with a 10-minute break about halfway through. So I'd like to introduce two of our panelists so far. Jay Wengrow, founder and CEO of Actualize. Jay, if you want to quickly introduce yourself.
Sure. I am Jay Wengrow, as Brian so accurately mentioned. I want to congratulate everyone today, all the students who are now graduates of Actualize. They're going to present their capstone projects, which I'm super excited to see. I also want to specifically thank Brian, the amazing lead instructor who led this cohort for the past 12 weeks in such a masterful way, as he always does. Brian, in fact, is one of the architects of the online version of Actualize, having led it from the very beginning. Also want to thank the teaching assistants for helping out during this cohort, as well as the panelists who are with us today. I want to thank everyone for watching.
Thank you, Jay. And Alexa, if you can give, well, I guess they know your name already, but a little bit about what you're doing day to day and
Sure.
a piece of advice you would give to someone starting their first tech job.
So my name is Lexa. I've already met you guys. I am a front-end developer. I am using daily React. I'm JavaScript, React, and then I'm doing a little bit of Python and Django. So I am responsible for turning all of those designs into real-life functioning pieces of the application. Piece of advice, stay curious, never stop questioning and trying to figure it out. So just be ferociously curious, I would say, as a new developer.
Cool. Thank you, Alexa. Alexa for sure is ferociously curious. And our other panelist, Josh. Josh, you can say a little bit about what you're doing day to day and a piece of advice you'd give to a developer starting their first job.
Cool. Yeah. So I'm Josh. I work at a shipping logistics company doing full stack work, mostly front end, but some back end too. I'm also doing React on the front end and AWS Lambda on the back end. I was actually talking to one of my coworkers about advice a couple weeks ago, and he said the advice he would give, I'm going to pass this along because I liked it, is that you shouldn't bang your head against the wall for 8 hours without asking for help, but you also shouldn't be afraid to bang your head against the wall for a bit of time, because that feeling of confusion and hopelessness can be good in limited quantities.
Cool. Thank you, Josh. So first up, we will have Alan. And Alan, your panelist will be Jay. Go for it, Alan.
Thanks, Brian. All right. My name's Alan Mannon. This is my app, What to Eat. I made this app because every day, millions of Americans have to decide what to eat. And I always run into a problem where me and my roommate or me and my significant other we can't force each other to pick where to eat. So an easier solution would just be have an app pick it for us. So I will walk you through it. This is a login page. You can also create an account, but I already made one for the presentation. All right, and here's your homepage. Just a little info about the user based in Chicago. These are the groups that you can save your restaurants to. That you can randomize them. So, and then you can come to find restaurants, and I'm using the Zomato API to pull the top 10 restaurants in the area. So for instance, Lou Malnati's is a very good pizza restaurant, so we can add that to our favorites. And this shows the restaurant information, the location, the phone number. This links to the menu on the Zomato page. And then now we're, if we want to go to our favorites, look at stuff. Look at this. I just realized I don't like McDonald's at all. I don't know why it's in my favorites, so I'm going to get rid of that. And then I think we're ready to find a place to eat. So we can come to the roll page, and you can pick which group of restaurants you want to roll. Let's do the favorites. So I guess we're having a sushi tonight. So we can just go to the page, get the info we need, and go to dinner. That concludes my app. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Jay, you can go ahead.
Yeah, hey, Alan, this is awesome and extremely useful. And now we can settle a lot of issues that I've been having. So this is great. Tell me more about using the Zomato API. Was it difficult? Was it well documented? Was it both of those things? What was it like to use it?
It was actually neither of those things. I was just talking to Brian earlier. Yeah, it was nice in the beginning, and then the more I got into it, it became a little more difficult, and it was kind of the stuff I needed was behind locked doors.
Oh, do they have like stuff you have to, like there's a paid version also?
Yeah, there's like, you have to be like an enterprise user.
Got it. But it looks, so, but you mentioned that it returns the top restaurants. Like what's considered a top restaurant based on what?
I could not tell you. The
There's
documentation.
algorithms.
Yeah.
There's some guy in Zomato who just subjectively decides which ones are the best.
My guess would be the Zomato ratings, which I can't pull either. So.
Got it. Cool. What would be like a future feature you'd want to add to this if you had more time?
I mean, the main thing is I would go back and, excuse me, I would redo it all with the Google Places so that I could integrate it more into like Google Maps.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'd be easier to navigate to restaurants and
That's
find
cool.
them a little bit easier.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Awesome, Alan. This is great. Thanks for presenting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Next up, we'll have Pete. And Pete, your panelist will be Lexa.
All right, well, thanks, Brian. I'm really excited to be able to finally share this app with everybody. Basically, I built this app because I go to the grocery store all the time and I repurchase things I've already gotten, for instance, vanilla extract. And I wanted to make an app so I could track the pantry that I already have things in there. So I won't repurchase things I've already bought. Basically, yeah. So all you have to do is go in, you can sign up here. So got my name, got my email. Oop. Password. But, oh, it looks like my app told me I've already signed up. So that's fantastic. I'll go back home and I'll actually sign in. Okay, so pete@mail.com. Password, log in. So once you log in, it brings you to this wonderful profile page. Looks like I am the 14th user. pretty popular app. And then you can also sign out here. And I just remembered, you know, I picked up some chocolate chips on the way home today. So I'm gonna populate that within my pantry. So here I'll put in chocolate chips. And then I'll go ahead and add the item to my pantry. Oh, here's my vanilla extract that I've bought too many of. So hopefully I can get that down to one of these days. So got my chocolate chips, my pantry's looking good. But now I just remembered, you know what? I'm gonna have a party to celebrate the end of class. So I gotta get some stuff at the grocery store for all my friends. So I go to the grocery list. I gotta get some salsa because what party is complete without salsa? Club soda, my friends really love the club soda. Add some club soda. And ultimately you need something to go along with that salsa. So add some chips and salsa. So there you go. So now I'm ready to go to the grocery store. I got my chips, my club soda, my salsa. And then I think to myself, what would really impress my friends? Well, if I made something from scratch. So, but I don't really want to go to any recipe website. I just want this app to tell me what I should make based on things in my pantry I already have. So I'll go over to this recipe idea. And basically this is built with the API with like a recipes database essentially. And so I'll click my recipe ideas and it'll populate some ideas for me so I don't have to think about it. So I got apple butter blondies. That sounds really good. Perfect pound cake and some chocolate chip shortbread cookies. Ooh, that sounds really, really good. It's got great detailed steps I can see. And one really nice thing about this app is that I can just click this plus button and I'll add it straight to my groceries list. So I'll go back to my groceries list, and that's the only item that is not in my pantry that I'll need in order to make this recipe. So I'll go back to my grocery list, make sure unsalted butter, yep, it showed up. So I'll head over to Whole Foods, add everything I need for my party, my club soda, my salsa, my unsalted butter, of course. And then, so I have the party, everybody, wonderful time. Everybody raves about those shortbread cookies. So then basically I'm all out of chocolate chips after making those shortbread cookies. So, but I don't actually want those back in my grocery list. So I'm gonna say no, but I know I do want chips for future reference, and definitely club soda, because you know, my friends pound the club soda, and then salsa I'll probably want again too. So then I can go back and I'll have those ready for next time I go to the grocery store. And yeah, that's my app.
Thank you, Pete. Alexa, you can go ahead.
Pete, that was great. I think it's a great idea. I love the app. Thank you for sharing. So were you getting all the data for the food items in the same API that you got?
I think I heard the end of that. So basically what I did is I took like a huge list of items from like I Googled like random lists of like top 1,000 grocery list items.
Nice.
And then for the recipe thing, I took like a Spoonacular is like an API, pretty popular
Very
recipe API. Yeah.
What was the most difficult part of building this project, would you say?
I don't know, probably the integrating the API, making sure like the API would send back the right stuff to go along with like what was in my backend.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Cool.
Saves on
Thank
food
you.
waste.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pete and Lexa. Next up, we have Declan, and your panelist will be Josh.
Great. Thank you. And everybody can hear me all right? Thumbs. Beautiful. Thank you. All right. As Brian said, and thank you, Brian, my name is Declan, and this is the Nanial app beta. Thanks for coming to the presentation. So Nanial app is an app that people can use to donate objects directly to charitable causes. allowing the user to choose what their cause is or who their Nanial is, and allows them to set the price of their donated object with 100% of the proceeds going to the people or charities in need. The app also functions as a philanthropic art community where artists and groups of artists can connect and share their concerns for the world. You're probably thinking, what is a Nanial? It's more who is Nanial? This is my homie Nanial, who's been my best friend since the 4th grade. Incredible dude, changed kind of my whole worldview. It would take me a long time to explain how great of a person he is, but everybody who I love loves him, and I hope that translates to you guys. But a few years ago, he got diagnosed with Lyme disease. They didn't catch it in time, so he's had several co-infections. And I wanted to make an app that could help cover some of the costs of his treatments, which aren't always covered by insurance. So I have some friends from college and some friends from my home who are like artists. And I think a lot of people in their 20s accrued a bunch of stuff that they don't need. And this app is a way for you to give that product directly to a cause. As you can see, I'm signing in now. I could also sign up for, that disappears, but I could sign up if I wanted to, but that would take some time. This is a picture of me and Daniel back in 2001. He gave me this AOI Bionic CD, which is De La Soul. He changed my whole world with this one record here. But anyway, he's an incredible dude. And more or less, this is the splash page you get to when you sign in. You can see a products page. This is our little store that other people have populated with stuff that they want to sell. When you click a product, it tells you the cause you're supporting, gives you a little description of the cause, the price, and lets you, and the quantity, and lets you add it to a cart. And you can also create a product. When you're signed in, you can make a new product, assign it a cause ID that will populate on the products page. And similarly, you could create a cause. Here, I'll do a little test cause, test, and you can assign a goal amount. So let's say you want to raise $10,000 for this goal. You can create that, and that will populate on a causes page. And there's so many causes in the world right now that people can support. And like, again, most of us have stuff in our house we don't need. Oh, sorry. So that's where test shows up there. So again, just to kind of finalize what you can do, you can add here a hat to the cart. You can go to your cart. You've got your 2 items in your cart. You could remove it. For time's sake, we'll just check out, and you'll get an order confirmation. That would give you the subtotal, tax, and the total of all of the stuff you've added. I'm realizing one of those was really expensive. I think that hat was like $30,000, maybe 400,000. But you can set the price. And again, like if you want to set something for $1 million, it could be $1 million. Last thing, this was a hypothetical link. I was going to send this to FoxyCart, which is an API that, yeah, I had plans of hooking up, but that didn't happen. I instead took some time yesterday to hook up in honor of Brian, the dad joke API, which, oh my God, please work for me. Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, that would have been tragic. But you can click this as many times as you want, and you'll get an unlimited amount of dad jokes for the price of $5. Thank you, Rapid API. Okay, that is the Nanial app beta, and thank you for watching.
Thank you, Declan. You can go ahead, Josh.
This is super cool, Declan. I move about once a year, at least I have for the past 7 years. And so the amount of stuff that I either put on Craigslist or give to a thrift store or something is just enormous. So something like this, I can really see the need for it. Also, that was a fantastic hat, totally worth the price.
Thank you.
How do, so once you sign up as a cause, how do you interact with the app, or how do you picture that happening in future iterations?
So you wouldn't sign up as a cause. A cause is something you can create as a user, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So like that, if you log out, like the create a cause goes away. Cause like that's more so like you're assigning where you want the money of your product to go. So let's say like you assign like your product to be $500, your $500, once you bought it, hypothetically would get added to the progress for the cause you set up or an existing cause.
Do you have an idea of how that money would then eventually get obtained or put toward the cause?
That it was going to be kind of on the admin side. I was going to kind of take responsibility for making sure money got where it needed to go.
Sure.
We quickly realized, again, like I didn't want to deal with credit card numbers or large amounts of money. Like $400,000 would be a lot for me to handle. So I think like, yeah, having a third party like Stripe or PayPal or somebody like that for allocation, and having like a board of directors, so it's like not just me like handling those big chunks of money would probably be what I'd do.
Very cool. What was the dad API hookup like, or dad joke?
Dad joke API, yeah. So that was really last minute, just realizing like I really wanted to use that part of class that we spent time on that, and I couldn't get the Foxy cart to link up. So I was like, I just figured this is an easy way to, this could be the most, it was actually used, there were several joke APIs used in like tutorials for API hookups. And I was like, you know what, let's get it on the page. And I wrote here, yeah, humor was a huge part of my relationship with Daniel. And like laughter is a really good medicine. So I figured this would be fitting for the last thing I do for it.
Awesome. Well, this is a really good idea. I like the app a lot, and I laughed like 6 times just reading jokes now. So
oh, thank you.
Thank you for sharing this.
No problem. Thank you. And thank you, Lauren and Brian and Bart, for your patience with me.
Cool. Thank you, Declan. Yeah, I'm just really trying to stop myself from telling some dad jokes right now, but I'm going to have to power through. Next up, we have Dan. Your panelist will be Jay.
Can y'all hear me? All right. So welcome, people. Today is going to be a very exciting day because today I get to share with you my app. My name is Dan, and my app I named the Dream Team app. When I was brainstorming ideas on what to build an app about, I couldn't think of anything better than a baseball app. And I came up with this idea of what if we could build dream teams, like impossible teams that can play together with players from all different eras. So Babe Ruth can play with Ken Griffey Jr. And you could build a roster of players by choosing which player plays which position on the field, and then compete against other teams and kind of study and think about who would actually win those impossible scenarios. The magic behind this app is it works with a statistic in baseball named WAR, which is an acronym for wins above replacement. And put simply, it takes an entire player's career and breaks it down to one simple number. And the higher the number, the better the player, the better the career is. So I could take those and build teams and then compete against one another and see who does better. So with that being said, I'm click around and go ahead and log in. Log in with this guy who's been using my app. He says he's a fan of this team in New York, not the Yankees, but he says there's some other team that plays there. And let's go create a new team. So right from this page, we could create a new team and select a team name. We'll go with the Rubber Ducks. And here's where we'll select who's going to pitch for our team. So Tom Seaver sounds like a great pitcher. And catcher, we could put in a Carlton Fisk. And first base, same thing. We'll put in a first base, put in Derek Lee. Second base, we'll put in Craig Biggio. Third base, over the hot corner, we could put George Brett. And shortstop, we could put in Derek Jeter. Left field, we'll put Barry Bonds. And in center field, we put Ken Griffey Jr. And in right, we will put right field, we could put in a Maglio Ordonez. We'll go ahead and create that team and redirects to our team. So you can see the team I just built, the Rubber Ducks. And this is a team that I created earlier called the Fighting Mallards. So as a baseball fan, we could kind of look at these two teams and study them and think about how that team would play together and which one of these teams would actually do a better job and which team would win. And for that, we could go to start a new game and we'll select this game and I'll pick the Rubber Ducks to play against the Fighting Mallards to play ball. And put simply, here the Rubber Ducks as the team that would win that game. And we could build a lot more teams, build as many teams as we like, and keep playing games and build into those scenarios of who would win. But right now I'm going to log out and return to home plate. That completes my app, and I want to thank everyone at Actualize for this opportunity and thank everybody that's watching.
Yeah, Dan, this is a fantastic app. Tell me more about the statistics. Is that where are you getting those numbers from that are obviously being crunched under the hood?
That behind the scenes, I did a lot of searching for an API that would just give me that one number, and I couldn't find that API. There's APIs that would give you all sorts of baseball stats, crazy amount of baseball stats there is, but none that just broke it down by career WAR. But I found one particular website that did that. So I just parsed through that website and built my own database with those numbers. That career WAR, I couldn't tell you how it's calculated, but it breaks it down to one number. Like, Babe Ruth is 160, and then like the 1,000 best players only like 80. And
got it. I'd probably be a 2. But so is it like the higher the number, the better? So something is the higher the number, the better they are. So is the math that like it sums up the total WAR of the entire team and it compares the two sums of each team?
Exactly. It takes those 9 players, just adds all 9 WARs together.
Got it. How did you decide which players to put on? Did you just take the ones with the top WARs? Like which players did you choose to put in your website that you could select from?
I started with the top, and then I kind of went through and selected some of my favorite players and made sure to put them on there. So I could picture those teams playing together. So it was probably like the 50 best players, and then from there I kind of just added in who I wanted to.
What was your favorite part about building this app?
Oh.
Or your worst part, but I'd rather hear the favorite part.
No, my favorite part was the front end work and designing and styling. I'm really proud of the styling and the way it turned out, and that was my favorite part.
Yeah, the way the different images carry through the whole site is very thematic. So awesome. Really nice job, Dan. Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
I think Brian's gone, but I'm next. So I think I can just share.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Ian Robertson. I'm here to show you my app, Venuer. I created this app because when I like to travel, I like to go to a concert at every single city I visit. And sometimes it's hard for me to figure out where I want to go. So for example, let's think of a place I've never been to. Let's do Bristol in the UK. Okay. So, oh, by the way, I should mention, all of this data is being pulled from an API called Predict HQ API, which is what I've been working with. And this is the data I've been able to pull from them. So let's look up Marble Factory. It looks like a good one. Okay, so using the Google Maps API, we can at least figure out where we are. I would have liked to add in directions. I didn't get that far yet. But let's look up another place really quickly. Let's try Seattle. So Seattle gives us actually a lot more information, which is nice. So let's look up T-Mobile Park because I like the Who and I would like to see them, even though they're old. Now we're in Seattle. So that's nice. So what's also nice about this is that, let's say we were kind of looking it up being like a total stranger. Like I've never been to Seattle before. So let's say, I don't know T-Mobile Park. I don't know CenturyLink Field. We can look up the artist rank that's provided. We can look up the venue rank. So we can kind of say, okay, like who are the best artists, but you can kind of pick and choose where you want to go with it, which is kind of nice. And so what we get from there in the rankings is that we can bring up the top venues based on the API. So we have the Marble Factory in Bristol, then T-Mobile Park, and then the WAMU Theater in Seattle. And then we have the top artists as well, which are Flogging Molly, Lana Del Rey, and The Who. And other than that, that's pretty much it. It's pretty much just a front-facing app in order to find venues in the location that you're at. And then what would an app be without a little self-promotion right there? You can go see my band's page in case you want to. But yeah, that's it.
Ian, that's great. I respect this end part as well, so good for you. I'm a huge fan of seeing live music, so I think this is a great idea. I would definitely use this app. Can you tell me a little bit about what it was like working with was it Predict HQ API?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I was working with Eventbrite API, and then Brian and I figured out that the entire API was deprecated. So I went to Predict HQ, but it was a little tough, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out, it's hard to work. It was frustrating, like, I can be honest now that I'm not presenting. Like something I told Brian is these two guys, or let me go back to Seattle. These two guys are nobodies. Like, and they get the artist rank and the highest venue rank. Like, they're nobodies. Like, I looked them up on Google. So it's just like, it was frustrating dealing with their API data when I wanted to be like, are you kidding me? Like, Kurt Van Meter has his booking page is an @Yahoo. And like, he's ranked above Alice in Chains and stuff. Like, it's just like, it was just, one of those things where I'm like, man, it's hard for me to make these rankings when I have no control over them.
Yeah, I hear that.
But it was a good lesson for sure.
Good. That's the most important part. How was working with the Google Maps API?
Much better. Much nicer.
Better. That's good. Good to hear. Well, it was great. I loved it. I think it's definitely needed, and I would for sure use it. So nice work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. I'm back, everybody. My internet went out. For those of you watching, if you want to know what happens when more technical person loses their internet, what I did is I restarted my router and then it worked. So that's a free tip for everybody. Cool. Thank you, Ian. Next up, we have Mark Corman. And Mark Corman, your panelist will be Josh. Originally, it was going to be Mark Ham. Now it's going to be Mark Corman, in case you're confused, Mark, or anyone else.
Yes, I was confused for a second, but yeah, I'll
Yeah,
go
especially
ahead.
with the two marks. Yeah, go ahead.
So hello everyone, my name is Mark Corman and I made an app called Fanalize. The idea behind the app is to do weather analysis based on the weather where your fantasy football players are playing so you can make better decisions for your lineup. So basically, last year I had a couple players playing during a blizzard and one playing during a rainstorm. And I wish I would have known that before I started them because it cost my team the game. So I want to make an app that helped me with that. So to get started, we can go ahead and log in. We'll use the email mark@bears.com because I'm a big Bears fan. Now we're logged in. So in order to get started, we can create a team. Just scroll down and I'll use the team name Mark Tank because my name is Mark and Shark Tank is a popular show. We'll use Lamar Jackson, MVP last year for Baltimore as the quarterback. I'll use Josh Jacobs, the Raiders running back, as my first running back. Chris Carson, Seattle running back, as my second. We use Julio Touchdown Jones as our first wide receiver. DJ Moore out in Carolina for our second wide receiver. Stephon Diggs for our Bills fans in the building. Hunter Henry as our tight end. And then Matt Prater as our kicker. And then if we just go ahead, click create team, then it redirects us to the index page where you can see all your teams. This is nice because maybe you have a team with Yahoo and CBS. You can store all your teams here so you can compare them. But we'll go to the team that we just created. And it'll take a second to load because it's using two different APIs. One's a sports data API and one is a weather API. And basically, the sports data API kind of shows whether it's home and away, so it can look up what city, and then that goes to the weather API to do the weather. So as you can see here, it's pretty nice out right now, so there's not a lot of bad weather. So like if it was raining, it would give him like a negative projection here. So let's say for the argument of the app, it's raining and he has a negative projection and you want to see someone else on your team. So you go to edit your team and you say, I don't trust Lamar Jackson anymore. Let me choose a new quarterback. So choose Matthew Stafford. He's my backup quarterback. Just click edit. This is all going to API. Click back on my team. It'll look Matthew Stafford up again and he sees Lamar Jackson. It was raining. Now he's in a dome. It doesn't affect the weather. So basically, maybe you want to start Matthew Stafford this week. And that's pretty much my app. Thank you for taking the time to listen to it.
Thank you, Mark. You can go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, so can you talk a little bit more, Mark, about the data and how you kind of got the two APIs to play well with each other?
Yeah, so basically, I wanted to use just one API, but I had like a sports data API. I said, hey, can I use your weather data? And they said, hey, pay me thousands of dollars. I said, no, thank you. So I went to like another API and I just did kind of like conditional statements of like, if it's home, then look up the city by the abbreviation of the team name. And you can kind of, and then so like, if it's home Detroit, they're in a dome. So that would just be the, that's how it just got the weather API. Or like if it's away, then this is looking at the weather in Carolina. And it just goes to the weather API.
Cool. What would you add to this if you had more time?
I wanted to do like better projection analysis. So I wanted to try to go through like how players have played in certain weather and make like better projections based on that. But that seemed very time consuming. So I just did like simple, like, if it's nice out, then I'll give them an extra point. And if it's not, then I won't. But I'd like to have more accurate projections.
Okay. Very cool. I like this a lot. Super impressed with the multi API use.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark and Josh. So we've come up to our break. We'll take a 10-minute break. It's 7:44. See you back here at 7:54, and we'll continue on with Christopher.
Hi, Josh.
Hey, Alexa.
This is still streaming, just so you guys know.
We can have an intermission of everyone just saying hi to each other. But hey, Josh.
Thank you for the warning.
Yeah, just before,
Before you ask me any embarrassing questions.
We'll have to do highs later after the presentations are over.
Probably wise, yeah. I don't know. I don't think there's a way from Zoom to pause it. I could like stop it and start another one, but that seems.
We need like intermission music.
I was going to play a particular 10-minute song, but
no, I think you need to know that you just
it'll get.
Do
remember, we got the other one taken down. Good baseball music.
That's perfect.
this was my opportunity to tell 10 minutes of uninterrupted dad jokes with no one complaining. And I blew it, but it's okay.
You got a couple minutes left.
It's true. I'm trying to just say them really fast.
Wait, you're doing like a stand-up routine right now? Is that your new gig?
Lex is very impressed.
What is the deal with Axios requests?
So is Freebird still a thing?
Unfortunately,
I'm letting you all answer that.
Oh, are people
So,
back? They are back.
100%.
It is.
unfortunately, yes.
Dan does the solo every day, so he loves it.
And the worst part is, Lexa, is he puts up polls that are like, oh, do you know another 10-minute long song that you think could replace this? And you're like, no, not really. There aren't that many.
I also agree that I picked the best song.
I think it's a
If I
great song.
recall, there was a poll, but Freebird still won.
Freebird tied. To be fair, Freebird tied with Push It by Salt and Pepper, which would have had to been played, I think, 3 or 4 times, which I don't know how long that would have lasted.
No.
So people will be back in 1 minute. And then we'll start off with Christopher once we get back. Give people another moment to arrive. Welcome back, people. So next up, we will have Christopher, and his panelist will be Jay. You can go ahead, Christopher.
All right. Can you guys hear me? Awesome. Alrighty. So hello, everyone. My name is Christopher, and this is my Capstone app. It is called Crosso. And basically, I've been a geek my entire life. I absolutely love video games, specifically fighting video games. And this is the inspiration behind this app. I always wanted to do like a mini, social media app about users sharing information about any specific video game, more content or whatever. So yeah, this is it. This is the homepage. So let's start with this. As you can see, this is actually a little bit of a glossary of terms. There are thousands of terms used in the fighting game community. So I wanted to put this right here just for new people to like learn more about terms and stuff. So let's go ahead and try this real quick before logging in. Let's go ahead and search for this little guy right here, cross up. So there we go. So we have this result right here. And this is a very common term actually. And as you can see, this is the inspiration behind the Crosso name. So pretty cool if you ask me, but let's go ahead and log in real quick and show you guys what this is all about. Alrighty, so after logging in, we jump straight to the Games tab. And so we can actually choose any of these 6 games right here. I actually chose these 6 particularly because although there are thousands of fighting games, I believe these 6 right here are the most relevant currently in the competitive landscape. And let's go ahead and click on one of these. Let's go with Dragon Ball Fighters, which is my personal favorite. So then right here, this is the profile page. So let's start with a little bit of a couple of links for this game in particular. If you want to learn more about this game, you have these 4 links: DLC, stages, patch notes, characters. So let's go ahead and click characters just to show you guys real quick. So this is a list of all the characters within this game. And if you click one of them, let's go with Bardock, which again, another personal favorite. You can clearly see right here a couple of features like the command list on like what to do on each game, like what he's capable of, basically. We have some frame data over here at the bottom. This is basically, actually, I'm not even gonna talk about it because you can go to the homepage, look for frame data and get the info there. So that's pretty cool. Mind blown, right? So let's go back to the profile page real quick and let me show you guys something cool. So if you go down over here, this is actually the user's content. This is my page. This is my signature icon. This is all over the place. So I actually uploaded 2 combo videos. This is working with a YouTube URLs. So basically, if you want to upload a video, you can just click on combos, and then this is super easy. Just paste the YouTube video URL. Just put whatever notation you want to put here. Click submit. It'll go straight into the app. You can also have some tutorials. Now this makes a little bit more sense since now you know, guys, who Bardock is. You can actually put some tips here if you want. You can upload a tier list. This is mine on what I think are the strongest characters in the game. Pretty cool stuff. They all work with links, so you can just do it on tier maker and then upload it there. But there's one cool feature I wanted to show, and it's right here. So let's click here for more content real quick, and let's see what happens. So we have the Twitch functionality. It's actually gonna take a couple of seconds to load because Twitch is very heavy when it comes to like data. So let's go down a little bit and let me show you something else while that loads, hopefully, because there's tons of stuff here. So this is just user generated content from other users within the platform. And this is just random. Every time you click refresh, you'll have different stuff here, like tutorials or whatever. Right now, I just have like 5 combos, from other users. So that's pretty cool, all with their notations. But let's go back with the Twitch functionality. Please, God, load, because this is pretty heavy. There we go. Oh my God. Alrighty. So I actually chose 5 Twitch channels to show here, which are like the main content creators for this particular game. If you go to some other game, you'll get, other 5 creators. And what's cool about this is that I actually made it work so that you can actually log in and then just watch the stream or do whatever you want to do. I mean, this is Twitch. So let's go ahead and try this real quick. Hopefully this is not going to explode. Let's just type something. And then hopefully, yeah, just whatever. It's fine. Oh, it says I'm not logged in. So let's go ahead and click log in. This is, again, using the Twitch API. So I should be able to just, oh, there we go. Hopefully my account name, it's not something super sensitive, but let's go ahead and log in real quick. And there we go. So I'm right here using my account. And if you want to say something like, hello from Actualize. Did I spell that right? Yeah, I did. Boom. And I'm just watching that. I'm not going to click play because, actually, yeah, let's go. Why not? And there we go. We're watching people's stuff. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And that's my app. Thank you very much for your time. And yeah.
Thank you, Christopher. Jay, you can go ahead.
Yeah, Christopher, this is an amazing app. There's a lot of different features here. I'm not sure where to start. I guess since we're on the Twitch page, tell me more about that. It looks like there's like an OAuth kind of login here. Is that something you had to implement? How easy or difficult was the Twitch integration?
Well, I thought it was going to be like 2 weeks of like hard work. I was very surprised because Twitch, since it's like super huge, their API documentation is like baby talk. Like it's super easy. I was very surprised. They don't even require, I mean, at the very least for this stuff, they don't require any like API keys or whatever. So it's pretty much some basic code in my app. It was like, I don't know, maybe like 4 lines of code and boom, it works. Yeah, I basically chose to just use the whole thing. I could have used, implement like the stream chat or just the stream itself. I chose both because why not? And yeah, I was actually very surprised because like during class, we used much more difficult stuff. So this was just bread and butter.
It's a pleasant surprise. Cool. So tell me more about like all the data, like the different characters you have for the game and their stats and whatever frame stuff you're talking about. Where is that information coming from? Did you have to upload it from somewhere? Where is that coming from?
Oh, well, that's actually like publicly available, like in the sense that like it's no API or anything. Like usually like developers just like share that information. It's just basically like just 1 or 2 images with a bunch of numbers in there. It's not that complicated at all. So I just basically like look it up and then I just hard code it within each character. Super basic. Like there's like pretty much nothing complicated there, to be honest.
Okay. So since those things were easier than I thought they may be, tell me what was the most challenging aspect of this app?
I was under the impression that front end was going to be the easiest part of it. And I am sad to report that's not the case. It was incredibly hard, at least for me. Like it was so like I just could like I was like just work, just whatever. And yeah, it was really tough for me because it's just a lot of things that you have to like individually plan in order to make it look nice. I was very surprised about that, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for people that dedicate themselves towards front end. Yeah.
Well, it does look very nice. Yeah, this is a wonderful app, Christopher. Nice job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christopher and Jay. Next up, we have Melanie, and Melanie's panelist will be Josh.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Cool. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Melanie. Thank you for being here. I had a really great time making this app, and I feel like I learned a ton, so I'm excited to show it to you. My app is called Which Wine. The point is to simplify wine selection. So when you're first getting into wine, or even if you've been kind of a wino for a while, the whole process of choosing a wine varietal, which is really just a fancy term for a type of wine, can be really overwhelming and intimidating at first. So I wanted to kind of integrate a way to not only keep track of wines and ratings, but also just simplify the whole process. You could be looking at an extensive wine list or staring at hundreds of wines in a grocery store. So yeah, hopefully Which Wine helps people learn more about wine and get more excited about the process of just tasting wine and being able to select it with confidence. Let's take a look. So if I scroll down here, I see that I can select my taste or smell preferences and get a personalized wine varietal. Cool. I can create an account or log in to save or rate particular wines by vintner. I'm just going to go ahead and log in under an account I made so that I could show you guys how the rating system works later. But my super secret password that nobody will ever guess. Cool. So it took me to the homepage. Welcome to Which Wine. Select your smell or taste preferences from the menus below and get matched with your personalized wine varietals instantly. Yes, I know, Google. My password is great. Okay, so I see funky, fruity, earthy, sweet. These are interesting. Let's check out funky. Leather. I do like the smell of a leather store. Cured meat, maybe only on charcuterie boards. Let's choose olive oil. That sounds fun. Fruity, I love fruit. Maybe I'll choose peach. Earthy. All my friends talk about menthol in smells of wine, so let's check that out. Sweet. Not much of a sweet tooth, but I do like the smell of rose, so let's choose that. All right, let's see what it gives me. Which wine? Suggested wine varietals. Wow, look at all these. So as you can see, that was quite a random selection of tasting preferences. Olive oil, peach, menthol, rose. How did those all go together, right? Like I said, intimidating. When I look through the varietal selection, I see Zinfandel, Rosé, Pinot Grigio, a German word that I'm not going to try to pronounce right now, Nebbiolo. So I have a mix of, reds and whites, so it's a good mix. Let's say I'm at a restaurant and there's 200 varietals on the menu and I don't even know where to start. So a lot of times, they'll have specials. I see there's a Nebbiolo on special. So let's click that, see what happens. Oh, cool. So I can create a new rating. So even if I don't order it, I can even just save it for later. And it brings me back to here. So if there was another one I'm thinking of, or I'm like, ooh, you know what? I've heard about dark chocolate in wine. Let's try that. I can even just click dark chocolate and see what it gives me. As you can see, I still get quite a few. I love a good Bordeaux, and they usually have them on specials at nice restaurants. So let's click that too. I can always save that, but let's just skip that part. So let's say I do order the Nebbiolo. I can go down and find that rating, and then I can save a particular vintner, which I can't come up with a Nebbiolo off the top of my head, and even a vintage, 2015, and even the region, and then a rating. So usually wine ratings go from 1 to 5 stars. You can do it in decimal increments. So we'll say I had it. It was really great. Wasn't my favorite. We'll give it a 4. And then some really detailed tasting notes. Something on the nose, well-balanced acidity. Save. Okay, cool. So it's in there. And then as you can see other wines I've rated in the past. You can have really detailed notes, or you can even just put, it was great, would try again. And you'll always have these to refer back to. And a really cool thing about this app is you don't even have to create an account. Anybody can utilize all of the tasting tags, and just, it's fun to play around with and just see what you'll get from all of the odd tasting notes that you can find in wine. And then you can log out and your ratings are gone. Nobody can see them, just for you. So as you can see, it's not only for simplifying the wine varietal selection process, you can actually have your own personal wine journal and learn a lot about wine in the process, which is really fun. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, Melanie. Josh, you can go ahead.
Melanie, very cool app. Can you talk a little bit about how the recommendations are made?
So I searched for wine APIs, and the only ones that were useful to me were, I think the one company, they said they started at like $300 a month, and they only contracted with like corporate companies, distributors. So I have my trusty Wine Folly journal. It's like the holy grail of wine for beginners. I absolutely love it. They have a whole website. They don't have an app yet, so I could totally help them with that. But her name is Madeline Puckett, and she partners with her husband, who is a web developer too. So they have some really cool online resources as well. That was super helpful. But I basically just, it's like a dictionary with wine, and I went through and picked out the most common wine varietals that I'm used to hearing, because there's so many. So I think there's 72 wines in the database, 80 tags, and I used a .joins method in my Ruby logic, a unique, so it would only return one of each wine, because dark chocolate could share with a bunch of wines, and then I just put it basically in a query to match up. I had a wines table and a tags table, so it matched up the wines with the tags. But I hand coded all of that data because it was just easier than sorting through and paying for a wine API and documentation and stuff.
Sure. Anything's easier than paying the $300 to. Any plans for the future for this app? Other beverages or other features?
I have so many, like I tried to write down before the presentation, where I wanted to go with it because I'm excited to just keep developing it. When I'm finished with school, I really have a lot of personal projects that I'm excited to work on. But this, I have to be honest, I think a little imposter syndrome kicked in and I didn't think it would turn out as cool as it did. And the more I use it, the more I keep thinking, oh, I could add this, I could add this. And I think what really comes up is, if you are a wino, you're kind of you want to know the region. Spanish wines are so inherently different than French wines or California wines. So I really want to add like a regions table and do some logic on the back end to connect the regions with the wine varietals. And then I would like to like auto-populate the vintner. And then it would be nice to use an API to connect like retail stores or where you can get those wines around you. Because if you're at home and just playing around with it, you're like, oh, a Rioja sounds really good, but where do I even get one? So I think those would be my main like fun projects for this app.
Okay, sound practical. Very cool app. Keep battling the imposter syndrome because this did turn out really well.
Thank you.
Very nice job.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Melanie and Josh. Next up, Bander. Your panelist will be Alexa.
All right, you can all hear me. Hey guys, my name is Bander Sala and my app is called Shopping List App Save Paper. And the app is live right now on my domain bandersala.com. And you can save your own customizable shopping list to your account if you sign up or log in. This is an example of a shopping list that's running on an account that somebody that signed up. And the inspiration for this was seeing shopping lists at the grocery store, just like a waste of paper, kind of just seeing people's shopping lists. And I realized people wouldn't do it online because they want to like have their customizable shopping list. So I took a few ideas. My idea was to make it really customizable and stuff. But right now for version 1.0 on my domain, it's just one design, the basic shopping list, notebook paper with a checklist. I can, if you sign up or log in, I already have an account. This button becomes clickable. It's also here to explain how to get to your shopping list. And my account has these two things from Safeway. So if you make an account, then you could start saving your stuff to your account. And so it's really simple. I guess you only really need one field right now, but yeah, it's to use the statistics to see how well you've been shopping that like month or date. It's good to put all the like how many quantity you completed. So I'll do a different one, Costco water pack. And you get water there, like a 30 pack for like $3. And then you can, after using this shopping list a bunch of times, you get, I've been getting the image really quick. You get really fast at just Googling and copying Google image URLs. And image. Just copy image address and put that in there, put some notes if you want. And it'll add it to the cart or your shopping list. And you can change, when you're ready to go shopping, you can change it by like store name and stuff. So say I do go to Costco, I can, and I only did one thing. I can hit complete and push the complete button. it removes it from the list and it adds it to the status to completed instead of carded. And then you could see your statistics on how well you've been grocery shopping, date versus the quantity that you completed. It's JavaScript, but right now the data is just showing. I might turn this into a smart table or just hide it, but yeah, that's the main features. And every account has its own shopping list. If you make a new account, you have your own shopping stuff. So, and then I still need to connect name from the back end. Otherwise, the last tab was originally my domain was a portfolio for my bachelor's in art degree. And that's my last main tab. Has my old portfolio and stuff. And that's my app right now. Mainly the app is my portfolio, but also as a sub for my other degree portfolio. Yeah, I'll make an account and test it out yourself on your own domain. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Bander.
Awesome. Bander, thank you so much.
Go for it, Alexa.
Sorry, I was ready. Thank you so much for sharing. I love the idea all about saving the paper. I think it's a great idea. And I love that it's live. That's awesome. So how are you getting the data for all the food items and then what store they're correlated to?
So right now, I'm using like handwritten API just into the backend on Ruby on Rails. And I guess it's, I just have a bunch of options. Like the idea was to like eventually go into detail and like have the exact like Google address. But for now, I guess just you can only do local by store name. And basically it was just keeping track of just the two main facts, the quantity when you hit complete and like the date timestamp when you hit the complete button. And that's like the only two main things that like, if I could go farther, I'd put like everything else is not required, but those are like more required. But right now, like you can only do one, you could do one sub topic for your shopping list item if you wanted, like just put one and it'll like work.
Very cool. What was your favorite part about building this?
Probably getting it to look like a shopping list and then trying to keep it really basic looking because I've been talking to companies and I guess some companies work with designers like graphic designers. So like some might not. So just trying to make it look good, but like easily like customizable by a designer maybe, or otherwise looking really finished for now. I also had like a button here that was like, this was design number 1. And I put like the notebook color background and then I realized like this version 1.0 is only gonna have one design. So
right.
I just got this. This is the main part of the app.
Awesome. Well, it looks beautiful. It looks super clean. I love it. I think it looks really great. So nice work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Bander and Lexa. Sam, you can go ahead and your panelist will be Jay.
All right. Hello, everyone. All right. Hey, everyone. My name is Sam, and I'd like to introduce you to Deets. Deets is an app created with an idea in mind that many people simply just don't know where to go to eat, especially during COVID times with constantly changing data. That's where Deets comes in. Deets is a shorter way to say details. It's a real-time app update that locates restaurants, bars, and nightclubs in the given city of a user's choice, differentiated by different icons located on the map. This is just a basic web page just for reference as you go to www.deets.com. And then, so where you go from here, this is the natural state. And upon logging into Deets on the very top, you're able to see that a user can create an account, They can log in, log out, and update a city. Each user has the ability to create an account with the home city. My current home city is in Chicago, so that's where we will begin this demo. So we're going to basically click the home button right here, and that's where we're going to take it, and it's going to lift us right off to the city of choice. Right in the front right here, it's going to bring us with the icons with, and this is all powered by Google Maps API and Google Places. It was all integrated, very easily functionable, a little difficult on the documentation side, but it was fun to figure out once I broke through that wall with it. So once you hover over icons on the side right here, you're able to see them populate on the right over there with JavaScript. So this is the location in Chicago, but because we're all mostly familiar with Chicago, I want to take us somewhere a little more tropic, and we're going to go to tropical, and we're going to go to Miami right now. With this being said, it takes us to the same layout, and it's going to show us 24 locations, which can be adjustable to 60 locations with the Google Maps API. I just chose 24 for now for speed purposes. And then once we go over each location, we can click on it and see that one of them are nightclubs, some of them are food restaurant places as well. If you click on these locations, it shows an in-depth location of what we're really looking at as well, or what we call the deets. So it's going to show the name, it's going to show our rating right here. And what's differentiated with this app as opposed to other ones that are just going to locate items is going to give you your user stories on the bottom. That's what differentiates deets essentially from other ideas, because all of the different things that are constantly changing with COVID is the data. And I wanted the users to be available and be ready with updated data as it comes and it sees fit. So if there's any policies that there's any COVID related masks that they need to wear, if they're at capacity with COVID, those real-time updates are the things that I wanted to bring to the forefront to the hospitality world that I do know that I'm actively going out of to get into the tech world. So I wanted to find a way to mix the two together, and this was the way that I found it as well. Not only that, with it being an option for job or for restaurants, it's an optional also an option for job hunting as well. So if what we can do here is it's also going to populate the ability for real-time jobs. So if you are out on the town and you are enjoying that meal that you're able to go out with COVID policies, and there's that job that does pop up, it has the opportunity for you to be that first person to apply for that job. That opens up a door for the employer, for that matter, to really market for free from on the employer side. Now with COVID in the flux with everything, labor and things are a little shorter, so that gives that free aspect to the employer. On the employee side, it gives them the ability to bring in more tips that they didn't have before. And on top of it, like I said, it brings that job market that we typically didn't have before. And then last but not least, it brings us to our SIN night, and it's what we call an acronym for Service Industry Network. And that's a network that essentially you wouldn't be a part of if you didn't have DEETS. What DEETS is it intertwines service industry members in there. So the bigger your network base is, the more people you connect with, and the more discounts you get at the end of the day. Service industry discount can be as little as a discount on an appetizer, or it could be as big as a couple of drinks or a shot at the end of the night to really put that cap at the end of your night. So those are the little things that you can come to expect. It brings a little normalcy to this world. And the whole idea with SIN, the whole idea with the service industry network is it really connects you, and it really works off the principle that if you help me, I'll help you. And in today's world, we could all use just a little bit more of that. With DEETS, you're part of that network, and I hope you guys all enjoyed the process with it. On the very bottom here is how to get in touch with SAM Incorporated. Here's the Twitter handle for it. Here's a profile, and then here's the email as well. And that, my friends, is DEETS.
Thank you, Sam. Jay, you can go ahead.
Yeah, Sam, this is a great idea, especially for these times, as you so eloquently mentioned. Could you go to the map again? Yeah. That's definitely the most intriguing feature that I've seen here. So those icons on the left, are those like the street view or just other images provided by Google for each of those restaurants?
So these are icons that were populated with Google Places API. So this is all from their database. So if you click on it, you can actually click on and see pictures of what those pictures are that they have populated. And a point that I didn't get to mention is a street view as well. So if you did want to go and see if there's street parking, it does give you the functionality to check and see if you can park there, or if you want to do a virtual tour and see what other places you can go to after your time at that restaurant.
Yeah, very cool. I'm curious to know more about the challenges with the Google Places API. You mentioned that you broke through a wall. Like, if you could could describe that a little more.
Yeah, so the documentation for it kind of feels like it parallels between it was built for programmers to understand, but then they wanted to make it understand for just that layman that is going there to just wanting to build an app. So understanding the skills that Brian taught us in class, trying to piece little by little, and really just creating a bunch of errors, so that way I knew what not to do. So that's really where I learned how to break through that wall. And like it was mentioned before, just trial and error and see as many errors you can get. And then that way, you know, the next time you're going to attack it, what not to do. So that way it eliminates all of that kind of fluff.
Yeah, that's definitely the way to go about it, and a good approach. No, it's really cool how when you hover over the icons, the push pins on the right-hand side pop up like that. And does it work with like any city? Is it limited to the US or?
Right now it's limited to the continental United States, but I do want to add other countries as well. With Google Maps and Google Places, it's the world is essentially mined under that the Bootstrap code for it. It's just a very basic, simple code that has a lot of power. So it was very unique to see how much power that line has.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. No, Sam, this is a great app for these times. Yeah, thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Sam. Next up is Sequana, and your panelist will be Josh.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sequana, and I would like to show you my my app named Bookflix. So I'm really excited about it. I worked really hard on it, so I hope you guys enjoy it. So watching movies has always been a fun way to spend time with family and friends. Unfortunately, with COVID, it's not ideal for a lot of people to go to the theaters. So Bookflix is a pop-up movie theater booking app. Pretty much where you'll be able to pick a movie and someone will come out and set up a pop-up movie theater in your backyard. Okay. So Amanda has landed here at Bookflix because she has a party she wants to plan for her daughter's birthday. She knows that if she logs in, then she'll have an opportunity to win a coupon. So she's gonna log in. So now upon login, she's gonna be met with a trivia question. So the answer to this one is actually true. So we're gonna click true. And she can just kind of copy this coupon so she can save it for later when she's ready to book. All right, so now she needs to pick a movie. So she wants to look at the trend in movies to see what's out now. So, so here's a list of movies and just browsing. Her daughter has actually been talking a lot about the Mulan movie. So you can get some more information on that movie. It sounds pretty good. So I think we're gonna go with that one. Okay, so with her coupon code and her movie picked out, now she's going to look at the packages. So there's 3 different packages to choose from. I think she wants to actually go with the action package because it's geared more towards birthday parties. So she's gonna go ahead and start setting it up to book. So she's gonna pick a day and a time. Then she'll just put her information in. So that was Mulan, and then that coupon code. So once she submits, she'll Bookflix will get an email with that booking information, and then they'll contact her with more details and questions. So that is my app. Book Flicks. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sequana. Josh, you can go ahead.
Sequana, this is a really cool idea. I've been using the pandemic to catch up on movies, and being able to watch them in a pop-up theater sounds much cooler than sitting on my couch. So at the very end, you showed like the booking feature. Can you talk about that? Is that with a third-party technology?
Yes, so that's an API called Nyla's, which is a booking API. So I pretty much just used that and linked it into my app.
Okay. Getting the email hooked up, was that kind of out of the box, or did that?
That was kind of out of the box too.
Okay. What was challenging in this? What was the hardest part?
I would have to agree with Christopher. I think the front end part, getting everything to fit right. It's like everything works good in Insomnia, and then you get to the front end, and it's not the same. Things break.
Yeah, that I can understand that. It looks good though. You did a really good job getting everything set up on the front end. Do you have any movie recommendations?
I would say I don't. No, this Bill and Ted Face the Music, I just watched that recently with my dad. That was funny.
Okay. Huge fan of the original. So.
I haven't seen Mulan yet, but I've heard good things.
Cool. I like this a lot. Very cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sequana and Josh. Next up, we have Angela. And Angela, your panelist will be Lexa.
Okay. Yep. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Yeah, okay. So my name's Angela Anderson, and this is Lavender Jello. So a couple of years ago, I was in the best relationship of my life. I found somebody that actually wanted to do things with me, that actually made me feel good. I met their families, got to travel, do things I never thought I would be able to. As the months and years went by, I found myself not as happy as I used to be. And I realized I haven't seen people in a long time. And to go into a lot of details, I have recently, through therapy, figured out I was being mentally and emotionally abused. So at the beginning, you see Lavender Jello with a quote and pizza. So for those who don't know, back in the day, pizza in domestic violence cases, the person that's being abused would call 911 saying that they're ordering a pizza when really they were calling 911. That way they can say yes and no answers and give an address without the abuser knowing that they're calling for help. So as you go down, it shows that you're not alone and gives you a fact that this happens to everybody, unfortunately. And then on the traits that my site that I'm hoping to have is that you'll be able to choose a website that you enjoy and to discreetly request a wellness check by going to that site. That way the abuser doesn't know you're asking for help. And it'll also have a friends and family function where you can list emergency contacts that you can notify that you aren't doing okay, or if you're not able to send the wellness check, that they can request a wellness check for you. And then chat is to link into multiple sites or give you the resources to talk to a real life person about how to handle things or to make a plan, and to even know if you're actually being abused or not, because for me, I didn't even know until later. And this one this part is like the types of abuse, which is physical, domestic violence, sexual or rape, mental, emotional, and that it can happen to anybody. And if you know somebody that's going through something like this, is to hopefully get them in contact with the right people. And then this will be more facts in case you're not sure if you're being abused or not, especially if it's not one of the most obvious ones. And then at the bottom here, it says, if you need emergency assistance, call 911 immediately. But here, if you click here, it will ask for your location and it will actually send a text is what I want to do to send to the nearest police station. So I don't know if you guys just heard my phone buzz, but that is through the Twilio app. But since my phone doesn't like to show on the screen, I took a screenshot and this is what it will send. It will send your coordinates and your time the timestamp, which it's the universal time. And then that way it shows you exactly where you are. And this would be sent to the police or where they can find where you are at. And then down here, you can get started to sign up. That way you can create your own account and set up your website and set up a plan if you need to start a plan. That way it's all safe and it's not obvious to the abuser, because abusers control everything about your life. And they know how to search and they know how to, they'll find out, which this is supposed to be helpful to be a more discreet way. And that is it for me.
Angela.
Thank you, Angela. Go ahead, Alexa.
I just want to thank you so much for sharing that story. I know it's very difficult to be so vulnerable, but it's so important to talk about these things. And it's a way to help break down the stigma that's associated with them. That way people can feel comfortable talking about things that aren't really ideal. And so thank you so much for sharing all that. It was beautiful. So this obviously was a very soul-fulfilling project for you. What was your if you could, what would you add to it or change if you had more time to make it, even better than it already is?
Well, right now it's actually being sent to my phone, which it isn't being sent to the police because I don't want to spam the police with something that's not required at the moment.
An emergency, yeah.
Wanted to integrate the What 3 Words API, which I don't know if you've heard of it, but it gives you, it's basically the same thing as your coordinates, except it's a 3 meter by 3 meter spot. And everywhere in the world, there is 3 words that will coordinate to that spot.
Oh, wow.
That it's nowhere else in the world has that series of words. And words, I mean, it could be grass, tomato, speaker. And the abuser or anybody's not going to know what that means.
Right.
Unless you have the API and it'll show you exactly where you are.
Wow. And so for the API, were you using the Twilio API?
Yes, because they had an emergency function, but since I didn't want to do that just yet, I still have to contact them to see if it's even possible.
Wow, very cool. How was it working with the API?
Very difficult.
Yeah, I've used Twilio myself.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it looks beautiful and you did a great job and it's super meaningful. So you should feel really great about that. So thank you again for sharing and it looks awesome. You should be really proud.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Angela. And thank you, everyone. So Angela is our final presenter. I'm just going to share my screen real quick. So I want to thank Jay for being here and creating Actualize. I'd like to thank Lisa, the career advisor, who's been helping These guys navigate the career or the job market. The TAs, Lauren and Bart, have been very helpful the whole way through. Lexa and Josh for being here to talk about all these apps. And I think that's everybody. Oh, and all of the people who presented, who obviously made today possible. So thank you, everyone. That'll do it for us. And have a good evening. Wait. Hold on.